How's it going? It's Friday night, and you know what that means. I'm back on track and on time for this week's Jerky Time. This is episode 51, and I wasn't sure whether or not this would be our finale or not, and it is not. I started this journey about 2 years ago, and I wanted to make jerky in my dehydrator. It was something I wanted to learn how to do, and I think I've done pretty well over the last 2 years, and I think some of the folks who have tried it can attest to it. I've made some really nice batches. But basically, I started this journey out with a recipe book that had 52 recipes in it. And I made one different recipe every 2 weeks for now, the 51st episode, and almost 2 years worth of content. So I spent some time thinking about how we were going to end this series and what kind of a finale we were going to have in this. And I was concerned because I'd wanted to do 52 episodes, but I didn't have anything really to do for the last hurrah. And I had a friend of mine come through, and I have a very special season finale coming up in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, we're going to make the last recipe from our Marinade book. The recipe we're going to make tonight is called Jesse James Jerky. I know, sounds exciting, right? The first ingredient in our marinade is 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Now, as usual, we got a nice 2.5 pound eye-round roast. Cutting out the waste, we have about 2 pounds, so we'll double this recipe. So we'll start out with 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of salt, although I did kind of fudge on it. I didn't do a full tablespoon. 1 teaspoon of ground red pepper. 2 cloves of garlic sliced. Here's the kicker. 1 cup of whiskey or bourbon. And I have this nice Jack Daniel's single barrel select whiskey we're going to be using in this. This was actually a gift from a client of mine for some work I did for them. It's a nice little special treat. So yes, 1 cup of whiskey or bourbon and 1 cup of water. Sounds fascinating. All right, well, let's go ahead and get that all mixed together. And let's go ahead and get the meat sliced up, and we'll get ready to get the marinade on the meat. All right, here we go. All right, so I think we got a really good cut here. There were some pretty big gristle veins running through this, but I think they're sort of out of the way, and I think we're going to get some good cuts up. So let's go ahead and clean this up and get ready to get the marinade in there. All right, so this looks like a pretty good batch. I do think we got a pretty nice volume out of this. Let's go ahead and pour the marinade in. And we'll mix it up a little bit with our hand. And then we're going to seal it up and put it in the fridge. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow and see how this turns out. I'm curious how much of the liquid will be absorbed into the meat. I'm also curious, because we're cooking at a fairly low temperature, how much of the alcohol will be left in the marinade. I guess we'll find out soon enough. All right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll get it on. We'll figure out how it's going to taste. See you then. All right, it's Saturday morning. I've just strained the jerky. It smells amazing. Never really smelled anything quite like it. So let's get it on the dehydrator. Let's find out what it's going to taste like. I'm really, really curious. All right, here we go. All right, and there we have it. 5 perfect trays. Let's go ahead and get this cranked up, and I guess I'll see you back here in a few hours to see how this turns out. All right, it's been a few hours. Let's go ahead and rotate these trays, see where we stand. Some of this is actually ready. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Jesse James Jerky. Not a lot of flavor up front, but the whiskey does definitely come through. You can certainly taste it. It's not very salty. It takes it a little bit of chewing before the flavor releases. It's okay. I'd give it around 8.5. It's not a lot of flavor. Got a little heat out of that one. That one's pretty good. But I feel it's kind of mild on flavor, so I guess we're going to call that one an 8.5. It's got an interesting taste, though. I will say that. All right. There you have it. Jesse James Jerky. Episode 51 in the books. One more to go, the grand finale in 2 weeks. We'll see you there.